So why is it all a load of BS? It's laughable really, isn't it? We've just got to laugh. Honestly, more laughter, more seeing these things as funny, because really it's just this mad, crazy game that we're living. I think never has it been more apparent about the amount of BS in the world than one thing I want to focus on with this is not the magnitude of the pantomime that's going on in politics, because I really don't care. I think where it's more dangerous that there's this complete BS is where the new age comes in. So, look, I studied yoga for 4 years actually. Before yoga teachers were qualified within 2 weeks, it was 4 years, and I'm going back about 15 years ago. And I went to this beautiful community, and this is nothing personal against them. So I won't name them anyway, but nothing personal against them. But I went and I did courses, and I'd go spend time in this community, and it was all wonderful. I saw light in their eyes. I learned all about the science of yoga specifically, and it was a certain school of yoga. And I was really blessed to spend time with incredible people, and I saw light in their eyes. I didn't realise until much later how infiltrated and how demonic the practice of yoga can be. And I know there's going to be a lot of people on here that will probably hate on me for saying this, especially if you've built your whole business around it and, you know, you're running yoga classes and you think, oh, you're doing tarot cards, or, you know, you're speaking to angels or any of that new age stuff, or you're doing like healing modalities that have no protection around them. But I have to say this because in a time where people are looking for answers, you know, they're having pain or they need healing physically, mentally, emotionally, more than ever. You know, they're having financial challenges, whatever it is that's showing up in people's lives, they turn to this mumbo jumbo nonsense. And I want to call it out, to be honest, because I've downloaded over the last 3 or 4 weeks an incredible book that I didn't plan to write a book. There was a bizarre set of circumstances. We were working really hard on a project, and I don't know if you'll remember, there was all these floods out in Dubai, and it kind of sabotaged a lot of the things that we were doing. But I've got to a point in my life now where I just trust absolutely everything. And if there's storms and chaos and things are not possible, then we pivot quickly. But I don't pivot from a place of scarcity or neediness. I pivot to a place of show me, guide me. What's my next steps? Because I know that everything is working for me and something better is going to come from this, and I'm just being rerouted. So while I took that time to reflect, what came to me was an incredible new book, and it's 13 years since I wrote my last one. And I don't think there's any more of a contrast that we could have when I think about where I was 13 years ago and what I chose to write about. Bearing in mind that the 50 Shades of Grey came out then, and it was a competing book for that, as opposed to the book that I've channeled now. There's such a contrast on it, but it is what it is, and it's come from what showed up over the last 13 years. So yeah, I was divinely guided to write this book. And one of the things that I wrote about slightly in the book, because I think it's important, is the amount of misguidance. So some of my personal experience, even over the last year or so, I invited someone into my home and into my circle, and I know they were doing yoga practices, Kundalini awakenings, all of this stuff. And actually what they were doing was spinning around the place and opening up portals and not knowing what they were inviting in. And the consequences of that are quite dramatic, because demonic entities, whether we see them, whether we believe them or not, these pockets of negative energy are everywhere. And we need a certain amount of discernment around these practices. Why? Because the way that you can invite these demonic entities into your life unknowing is through doing the practices that you may think are spiritual, religious, without protection around you of Christ consciousness and the divine infinite source of everything, which always protects you. That's one way. So doing these kind of like even yoga postures, okay, there are certain symbols that go on within the yoga So whilst it's a science, and I still do energy movement, and I'm blessed and grateful for those teachings, what I learned since was that at the end of this incredible heart opening, heart expanding sessions with energy movement, then they're doing symbolisms with the body and symbolisms with the mudras of the hands, which is sending this energy to the dark side. And look, if you believe in light and you believe in the divine and you know there's a creator, then you absolutely must believe in the dark side, because everything has an opposite. Where there is night, there is day. Where there is light, there is dark. Where there are ups, there are downs. Everything has an opposite. So we can't believe in one without believing in the other. And really, it's a dance between the two. And the only way that I've got to this point is through my own divine guidance, because in a world where we're living full of illusions, you know, leaders are transvestites and transhumans and all of this stuff, which they are, by the way, that's another way of hooking us into an agenda. We're finding out that there's human food in our meat products. Places are being shut down because of it. You know, we're being poisoned in our crops. We're being poisoned through the air, the water. You know, let's face it, life is not quite what we thought it was. There is something pretty dark running this world. And what I've seen is they've infiltrated everything. They have infiltrated what should be beautiful, heart expanding practices. So I'd be super mindful. I mean, back in my day when I started to study all of this healing stuff, I was following a woman called Dorian Virtue. And for those that know, Dorian Virtue was an incredible angel healer. She did a lot of cards and it was all beautiful what she thought about angels and angel beings. But really, she came out later herself and said, listen, I've made a terrible mistake. I've been flooding your world with demons without even knowing, inviting demons into your life to guide you and show you. So I think it was amazing for her to come out, and she realised the error of her ways and had to refund loads of people on these cards and these teachings. But it's, you know, you can hear that and you can think, well, that's rubbish. For me, I don't do that. I tune in. And if I'm in any doubt at all, I get yes, no answers. But my body tells me now whether something's true or whether it's false. And in a world where we live in, where we must have that level of discernment for ourselves because so much is false, I just want to shine a light on the fact that the ways that these demonic entities can come into your life is through worshipping these practices, these religions that are about divide. Anything that is about divide is not about oneness and unity, which is the truth of who we are. We are all one. You only need to look around at beautiful nature around us, the ocean, you know, the trees. Look at a flower. Take some time, really look at it. What do you see in that flower? It's perfect, you know, and the whole ecosystem links together. We link to the ecosystem. Everything is linked, so everything is one. So there is only oneness. So any religion that is telling you that mine's better than yours and there's this separateness is complete BS. God, I could call out so much BS, but it's really about, look, these new age practices, they're really quite dangerous. Okay, so I don't care if that's yoga, I don't care if that's going to see a medium. These mediums can say they're talking to your loved one, but this could be an entity that has been there around you and picks up on information. So that's all, you know, to be watched. Be careful of the practices you're doing. And I think another really powerful way where we invite in and open these doorways without knowing is when we go and do meditation in a big group. What protection is around people? You can go and spend time with certain teachers and they might have 8,000 people in a room all simultaneously meditating, opening up their field. But what is attached to some of those people? What is jumping around? You're giving permission and allowing these things to, in effect, come and be part of your being and take you away from your alignment. So I've mentioned about some of the healing modalities, some of the mumbo jumbo, some of the card readings. Another really powerful way, and this speaks from someone who was all teaching about unconditional love and everyone should have fun with everyone. And to be quite honest, I completely take all of that back, because what I've been shown through my own discernment and channeling is we have to be super mindful who we are physically intimate with, because sure as heck, any energy attachments they've got, when you come together and you open up those portals, and not even just attachments they've got, but that are hanging around, will come into your being. And when people have these like parasitic overlays, imagine when you've got parasites in your body that everyone's speaking about. These parasites are sitting in people's auras and energy fields. And listen, I've had massive experience of visiting people, supporting people, and helping them get out of the system of mental health. And when we look at these hospitals, they're just riddled with people who have been, you know, entities basically have taken over them, and then they prescribe medications and try and dumb them down that way, which only makes the whole situation worse. Everything is an energy game. Okay, we have our physical being that can be taken over by parasites, and we've got our energy body that can also be taken over by parasites. And it literally takes over your mind, starts making you doing these addictive, damaging behaviors. It's really, really crazy what I've seen in this world. So, what's the solution? Because you know me, I'm always about solutions. The solution is to be super mindful when you are saying your prayers. Connect straight to the divine. Okay, it's straight to the divine. You don't need a priest. God, we won't even go there when we're talking about demonic practice and invoking of dark entities. But you know, discernment. So there is no middleman. Okay, you have a connection straight to Christ, straight to the divine. Okay, and we're not begging for things to be given to us. We're grateful for what we have. We have this wonderful, incredible world. You know, go out in nature, look around you, sit by an ocean, look at the mountains, look at the spectacular things that the creator has created for us. Look at what your body is doing, trillions of cells in your body working harmoniously. You don't need to try to make them work. It's the divine creator has made all of this. So we should be so grateful that we are given this chance and this life in Earth School to do our best. And yeah, it's time to not be going to any of these mumbo jumbo spiritual healers, woohoo magic and witchcraft. It needs to be eliminated because you don't know what you're opening up. So yeah, I just wanted to do a little video on it and to say, look, pray to the divine, pray to God, and do it from a place of empowerment, a place of gratitude. Thank you now that I have. Take a piece of paper and write it down. Thank you now that I have this in my life. And if there's a challenge, and it could be a challenge with illness, and I've seen this, miraculous healings happen. Healings are real. Pray, thank you now that this person is healed, brought into balance in your name, dear God, in the name of Christ consciousness. And cleanse any energy. You know, you can do that in nature. You can lie on the ground and set the intention, release anything from my being that no longer serves me. In fact, I've done some real prayers that are going to help you, not only to cleanse your physical being, but to clear these energies away. So yeah, I'm excited about launching this new book. It's got a lot of these solutions in there. So yeah, welcome to Real Prayers. It's coming really soon. So I'm so excited to share it with you. Yeah, straight connection, and be aware that all is not as it seems.